Good morning, Singapore, and in the studio, Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
Morning.
Good morning. That was a nice surprise. Dr. Jerry walking into the studio. We thought she was going to come to us virtually.
Yeah.
Yes, because Glenn was badgering me for sex addiction topic. So I said no. So a compromise is me coming in, being nice, because he was really nice to me over the weekend, being my event buddy and everything. So I said, okay, I'm going to do a modification of the topic, which is about good touch and bad touch.
And how do you do touching virtually, right? So you have to come into the studio.
Oh.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
You mean I'm going to be touched by you later, and then I'm going to like tell you whether it's a good touch or a bad touch?
No. So we teach the young ones about
I
good
see.
touch and bad touch.
Okay.
This is the adult version, but we do teach the children about good touch and bad touch. Areas of the body where they can be touched and areas that people should not touch them.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to do a little bit of a modification for that.
Okay,
Aw,
good.
this is a nice touch on your part.
See what you did there.
Thank you, Jerry.
So do you do these sessions with all children that come in, no matter what they come in for, or just specifically children that come in and might have a problem like this?
So some of them have behavioral issues in school, and some of them have are diagnosed with autism. So they're not very aware of their of certain social cues or what they need to do. So we do teach them about good touch and bad touch.
I think you're so vulnerable when you're a kid.
Of course.
I was touched like inappropriately when I was a kid. I was, there was one time I was in this toy shop.
Yep.
And this was definitely in the mid-70s, I think. There was this man, I can still remember. All of a sudden, he stands next to me, right? And I feel an excruciating pain.
What?
He burnt me with a cigarette.
Oh no!
What?
Can you imagine that? On my arm.
Oh my
Deliberately?
I went
God.
home and there was like a hole on my arm. He just burnt me with a cigarette.
Deliberately?
Yes.
Oh wow!
Oh no.
Oh,
I'm sure it was
dear.
deliberate. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't even scream when he
that.
burnt me with a cigarette. It's only after like he had left and I felt,
That
The
sting.
pain.
I felt like this guy really wanted to hurt me.
I
By
mean,
the time
kids-
when I told my dad, it was too late because
Yeah.
I was home already. I didn't even dare say anything.
He couldn't go run back to the store and see who it was and all that. I mean, it's awful because kids are so innocent. I mean, they're born innocent. They have no clue the kind of horrible things that they're in for.
True,
When
so
they grow up.
what they receive. So for children with autism, we teach them not to touch because they have no awareness. So they are the ones that may touch. So a little male boy that comes up to you with autism, it's really cute if he simply just touch you, because there's no ill intent. But imagine a teenage autistic boy reaching for your breasts. Yeah, and teachers do get subjected to that. They are very uncomfortable. Their own peers also. So, in order to help them to integrate into society, we do need to teach them what is a good touch and what is a bad touch.
And do they grow up remembering?
So
They
they
do.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, they
All
know where are the places, where are the spaces. But of course, there are different types of touch also that we can go into, because now we teach them zones that are no-go zones. But what happens to the arm? They can hit, they can pull, they can grip. So there's different types of touch also.
Plus, when I was in primary 1, I was having like tuition. That's quite young actually to have tuition. My tuition teacher put her hand in my pants.
I heard this story.
Oh,
In the back.
I think
right? In the
that's,
back, right? You said?
That's not a good touch, I guess, right?
no, that's
okay.
That's not meant to
not
happen.
a good touch. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's continue to talk to Jerry on The Big Show TV. Here's Dua Lipa with Training Season on Kiss 92. See, I experience everything.
Yeah, you seem to have gone through quite a lot as a child. I don't remember
Bullied
any of
also.
Very colorful.
these. Right? I don't remember any bad moments like that, like being touched and all that as a child.
I don't know. Do you take bus?
did I take a bus
Yeah,
when I was a kid?
when you were younger, like a
The
public
school
bus.
public bus. I think I started in secondary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the so in the past, I'm not sure whether the teachers and the police are educating the children nowadays. When you're taking the bus and a guy comes really close to you, because this is a safe zone, right? Like your arms are safe zone. So when you're seated down and the person is standing beside you, they can come very close, especially a packed bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you feel uncomfortable and unsafe, then you do need to move away, because what happens is sometimes the men take advantage and they start rubbing their
against.
crotch
Yeah.
on you.
What?
Yeah, so you start to feel a lump on your arm.
Because when you're sitting
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they're
you're
standing,
sitting.
they're
You're
higher up.
sitting.
How is that? How tall is this guy?
Yeah, when you're sitting and the person
Oh my
is
God.
standing
Okay,
up,
okay.
and they you feel something. Yeah, so you either jab them.
Wow.
Elbow in the crotch.
Yeah,
right
and they
away.
wouldn't scream because they know they did something wrong.
But
Yeah.
you know what? You were saying you're not sure if the authorities or the companies are doing anything. They do have signs on the buses, and
Okay.
I'm not sure about the trains, but I have seen these that touching is not. I don't know what the sign says exactly, but it's along the lines of if you feel like you're being harassed
Yeah.
or touched,
Yeah.
tell the bus captain immediately.
Okay.
So,
okay,
but I'm
good.
sure that some people also still remain quiet, but that's as far as you can go, right?
So that's
At
that's
least
where-
warning.
Yeah. So it's important to know the no-go zones, but what do you do with the safe zones? You know, and what do you do with sudden touches?
You were saying earlier that you teach
little
autistic
ones,
children,
yeah.
autistic children, not to touch or what appropriate touch is.
Yeah.
But do you teach them the other way as well?
Yes,
You
of
do
course,
as well.
of
Okay,
course.
all right.
Yeah, yeah. So we have safe touches, unsafe touches, and unwanted touches. So these are the three categories that we broadly tell the children. So safe touches are like, if let's say you go to the nurse's station and they have to touch and see if you have a temperature, or to tend to your wound, that is a safe touch, or someone coming and you are comfortable with the person and the person taps your shoulder, that is a safe touch. Yeah. Then unsafe touch are touches that make you uncomfortable. And you don't know why you're uncomfortable. You're just uncomfortable. So, it can be something that you feel in pain, or you feel, it's too much. There's too much pressure. Yeah, so those are unsafe touches.
What about unwanted?
Unwanted is, we have that all the time. Like, we're not really in the mood for it, and somebody comes and touch you. You say, "Hey man, don't touch me." Yeah, so those are those days where you're not in a good state and you don't want to be touched, and and someone touches you.
Are we talking about adults or kids now?
So it's applicable. So I realized that adults don't talk about it, right? So we do look at children, but I realized as I was doing this, it's applicable for adults also.
Yeah,
you know?
because there are sometimes that touches are unwarranted. You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I mean? Someone come up to you, whether it's a colleague or a friend, and they come up and they rub your back or something. You're kind of like,
Yeah.
why are you rubbing my back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is that? What is that
But if
purpose?
Benson
Yeah.
Boone comes up to you and
Oh,
rubs
well,
your back,
he
and
he
see
can
what
sit
I
on my
mean?
lap anytime.
See what I mean?
But you see, that's unwarranted, and then there's really wanted. So there's a difference.
Double standards.
No, that's not unwanted.
Exactly.
If the
That's
person
not
is good looking,
unwanted.
you can
very
touch
much-
me anytime.
No, but that's not true. I mean, I've had attractive people as well, kind of inappropriately think that just because they're so good looking, they are given the license to do whatever they want, and I think that's awful.
No.
Yeah.
So they breach space. They breach a certain sort of space. We are on air or on Facebook. So we can show the 4 levels of space. So we talk about personal space as an overarching, theme of space. Then you have your intimate space. No, or rather, first you have your intimate space, and then your personal or casual space, and then you have your social space, and then the public space.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we can demonstrate.
I'll go to you.
Oh.
Yeah. So this.
Move over more.
Okay. Okay.
Some girl on girl action going on.
You wish.
So if we are quite close now. So are you comfortable?
Yes.
Okay.
I love you.
Oh, so I've just breached her intimate space, so it's a little
Okay.
bit closer. No, personal space. Sorry,
Personal.
I breached the casual space, so
Okay.
I've gone a little bit closer. Okay, but if I go all the way, notice,
yeah.
you moved away. Yeah, so this is too close. That's your intimate space.
Or maybe she's just looking at your hand, don't know whether your hand is
Intimate.
clean, not going to touch your face, so she moved
It
back.
doesn't matter, but the second I went closer, she moved away. Yeah, so that is intimate space. So this space still okay, but when it went closer, she went further away. Yeah.
I would have stayed put, or you can put your hand on my
So
face.
Glenn is in the social
Public
space.
space. Okay.
Not yet. Not yet. Public space would be when we are doing a talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So if someone is in your casual
move back?
space, it's okay. Yeah. Someone is. I like having you here. It gives
I
comfort,
like being next
right?
to you as well.
Do you need to use the mic? Okay.
No,
you
no,
can
it's
go
all
back,
good.
you
All
can
good.
go
It's
back.
all good. It's all good because we're on. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So if someone is in your personal space, which is your casual space, that space is usually for friends and acquaintances. Yeah, so it's still manageable. So where your personal space is in the lift, in the bus. So this is where we are in the bus and we are seated here like
Yeah.
that. Okay?
I don't like when people touch. When like in the buses and all that.
Really?
Like, yeah, of course. Like you shouldn't be that close.
But
when you're
sometimes
touching.
they're huge and they kind of like,
Yeah, this is why I wear like sleeves on airplanes and buses and all that.
So that's a different kind of
the
touch.
skin.
So the space is what we're talking about. Yeah. So sometimes people come into your intimate space without realizing, or you have a larger personal space. Yeah. So the larger personal space, you want them to be further away. So
She
that's
smells
okay.
really good, by the way.
Go away, go away.
Oh, now you making her feel uncomfortable now. It's like, you smell so nice.
You need to get what that scent is.
Jado.
Okay, J'adore.
Oh, I haven't heard that in a while.
J'adore.
J'adore. Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, yes, in all gold, right? Yes, that's a good ad.
Yeah. So now we are in this more of a social space. We're not in each other's personal space.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you teach children that as well.
Sometimes if they need to, because I had one little boy with a bit of impulsivity and he doesn't know his boundaries. So he came right up to my face. So he was very excited. He wanted to tell me something, and it was a little boy, right?
Okay. Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning and every Tuesday morning is award-winning psychologist from the Therapy Room, Dr. Geraldine Tan.
Morning, and
Good
today
morning.
we're talking about touches.
Yeah.
Appropriate touches and inappropriate touches.
So you were talking about a little boy that
yes.
didn't know his own
He
boundaries.
didn't know boundaries. I had taught him about boundaries and he forgot again because he was so excited. So he came right to my face, almost nose to nose. And I was like, okay, I knew instinctually, you kind of know he was going to pounce. And I just had to stay and close my eyes and not move away so that he doesn't feel abandoned or rejected. And then I opened my eyes and go, sweetheart, I think you're too close.
So that's a key, is it? Not kind of like repel.
I was not in danger
Yeah.
and it was not a bad intention. He was just unaware. But every time when he does that to his friends pulls away and he would lunge forward again. And that perpetuates a cycle, right? Where they are very, very scared of him. So, and the teachers would not know how to manage him because he really doesn't know what he did wrong. So I needed to demonstrate and say, sweetheart, you need to be this distance. I'm very uncomfortable now.
Okay.
And then he stared at me, not quite understanding what he did to me, but he went, okay, I'll listen to you, right? So he gave me the look that I'll listen to you, but I'm not sure what it is. And say, just stay at this distance. This is good.
Was he autistic or not?
No, he's not.
Okay,
No, he's
so
not.
that
a bit more
happy
impulsive.
boy.
yeah, I
It's
feel
just
like that could happen with a lot of kids, like, and it's cute when they're small.
small.
Yeah.
And they come up to you and they're so excited and they come right up. And that's the time you start teaching them, right?
Yes,
That
yes.
that's maybe too close.
Yes.
Okay.
Because by the time they get a little bit older, they get bigger,
They
and they
don't
come
know.
so close to you. People call it sexual harassment.
Yeah.
People call it like they're trying to be funny or inappropriate. Yeah, and they get misunderstood.
Yeah. But from your experience, people who have come up to you, like, the kids who have been touched inappropriately and all that, does this go into their adulthood?
Yeah, so sometimes it loiters and becomes an impact that they
Right.
don't like certain touch.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's look at the sensation of touch, right? And this part I am a bit nervous to say, but the sensation of touch, like literally physical touch, okay? How our senses, our sense receptors receives the information. So it could be pressure when we hold, or mothers cradling a baby.
Yeah.
So they're just holding a baby. So that sort of touch, that sort of embrace is a bit different. So that pressure, the light touches, that we receive. So it could be, a tapping. Yeah. So again, what does it mean? And then temperature, hot and cold. So that's the sense of touch. We're really just talking about the senses now, the sense of touch. And then vibration, right? And pain. So all these send different signals and different associations for us. So when someone is touched inappropriately, the sensation that you receive would indicate to you what is your trigger. So the hand perhaps slipping into your pants, for example, is a light touch.
Yep.
You remember the temperature, what the finger does or whatever it is. And
It was on my backside, by the way.
it's okay. So when that similar sort of trigger, the combination of that feeling occurs, it can trigger. It might trigger.
As an adult, you're saying.
As an adult, or all through, whenever it is.
Does it
yeah.
trigger anything for you?
No,
Glenn?
I like it actually. Really?
Okay.
And usually they'll say, "Oh, what a nice smooth butt you have." Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on the Big Show TV. It's 8:23.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you.
Yeah, I'm not scarred by that at
The
all.
only thing triggering is my cough. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So you're not affected by it at all.
No.
But were you at least when it happened affected? I mean, you knew it was wrong.
Yeah, but
Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking about it
yeah,
today.
I know.
you
I knew it was wrong, but I didn't mind it.
Oh,
oh,
and you were how old?
okay.
7.
She was just rubbing my butt cheek, and I was like hand in
Okay,
my pants and
that's
just
a
like
bit-
holding onto my
Skin
butt
to
cheek,
skin.
skin to skin.
You put a hand in your pants and your underwear.
I don't think I was wearing underwear.
Oh, that's probably why it
it was
happened.
at
I'm joking.
home. I was primary one.
Were you like in pajamas or something?
No, but I probably just shorts, t-shirt.
I don't quite know how to recover from that. I was going to go
He's like,
somewhere.
But
I'm
see, this
okay,
is what
you
I mean,
know?
you see. So, like, let's say it's a girl, and she was inappropriately touched, at that age.
Yeah.
Chances are, when she grows up, right, in adulthood, she might not be comfortable, like, in terms of, like, where intimacy is concerned. There might be issues.
Do boys
Right?
and girls get affected differently?
I think it's just Glenn that gets affected.
Okay, so it's not a
differently.
gender thing,
but
right?
I suppose it's also the association because you didn't have any bad feelings towards her, towards the teacher. You weren't uncomfortable with the teacher. Did you know that it was inappropriate at that point in time?
Yes, I think I did.
It only happened
was
once, or did it only happen
uncomfortable.
once?
A few times.
Oh, your mom never knew.
No, I didn't tell my mom.
Wow, so it happened more than once.
So you actually liked it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this probably explains a lot.
I cannot say anything because it'll be inappropriate to say. But
Okay, but,
Oh my
but
God.
it is that perception of that touch. Whether that touch is kind, whether that touch is comforting, whether you're comfortable or not comfortable. At the end of the day, that association
Doesn't make it
for
right,
you.
though.
It doesn't make it
As a
right.
child, I mean,
So
especially.
That's why we cannot take sample size 1 Glenn Ong.
my first kiss was when I was in K2. No,
They kissed you or you kissed them?
no, I'm talking about not with a teacher.
Okay. Thank goodness. No, but did you kiss the girl or did the girl kiss you?
I think
There's
I
a
kissed
difference.
the girl.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Mine was like in K
Right.
something. I kissed the boy. On his cheek. Yeah, on his cheek. His name was Tomoki.
Tomoki.
He's Japanese. I still remember. He's like a year younger than me.
Oh dear. Yes, but yes, it was perhaps at that time appropriate in your mind.
Yeah.
But now that we are talking about it, we are more mindful about the different types of touch.
So like we were saying, okay, we had our first kisses in inverted commas when we were in kindergarten. But nowadays, because of the woke generation, because everything is so inappropriate, kids are still kids. In kindergarten, you'll still be on a bus and a boy will still like a girl and a boy will still want to hold her hand or give her a peck on the cheek and all that. How do you tell kids, okay, like stuff like that is still okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like if
I know
I'm
what
the
you
girl
mean.
that's kissed and I'm 5 years old and I go back to my mom and dad in today's context,
The
something
parents
will be lodged.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. The parents will not be pleased.
No, they would. My mom and dad. I don't know about my mom and dad, but parents in general will be like, "Oh my goodness, this boy harassed my girl, sexual harassment, this and that." How do you
So
fight
unless
something
it's,
like that?
it's repetitive, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So then you can say there is something, then we need to do something. It's so repetitive, not just with one person, but with many people, right?
Okay.
So
Like the
then-
boy is going around kissing all the girls. And,
correct. So it's difficult to just say this child has an issue and needs to have the behavior modified or rectified just because he's done one kiss.
Okay.
You can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But some
Yeah.
parents will overreact.
They will for sure. Yeah,
Sure,
they will.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, even, but also for ourselves, right? So little kids, we still have they have a lot to learn. We can teach them, but for the adult, because I see a lot of cases, who are sexually assaulted, not coming forward, thinking that they are wrong. Yeah. So that leaves a lot of trauma and they're holding on to it, themselves. Yeah. But yes, if we're talking about, just all of us, just being aware of the association of the different types of touch. So the pain can be actually, some people like painful massages.
I like painful massages.
So to you, it is about recovery. To you, it is about, something is being done to your body, But sometimes pain, when someone is, being forced to do something, okay, inappropriate, it is painful. Or someone that pinches you or pokes you, it is painful. And you associate that with bad touch.
Right.
So the painful massage, good touch, but the force on, is a bad touch.
Yeah. I actually told my foot therapist yesterday. I said, torture me today.
Wow.
I feel like being tortured. So he was like rubbing my,
Aiyo.
my foot, and I was like covering my face. I'm like, but it felt good
It
after.
felt good afterwards. So that association was a good association. So light touch can be like tickling, playing with your hair. Yeah, so that is light touch.
But tickling also, I mean, I get sometimes leads to like sexual harassment for kids as well, right?
So there is the good touch, and then there's the bad touch.
There's
the
the bad
one
tickling.
that is more central. So if I come and I do this.
Oh, that's
That's
This
not.
time I'm seated here. I imagine I do that.
that would have turned me on straight away.
That's why you're seated there as well.
Right.
You're isolated.
Okay, wait, going back on air. Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Jerry, thank you so much for coming into the studio. Dr. Geraldine Tan.
pleasure.
And thank you very much for the coffee as well.
Yes, it's from the coffee shop, so I didn't make it.
You bought it though. It's
Yeah,
the thought that
exactly.
counts.
Okay, so we're talking about touch
Yes,
today.
we're talking about touch. And, the other touch that, sense of touch that, we can do a lot of association with is temperature. So temperature, your cold packs, your hot packs, really good for recovery. But when somebody, wants to stimulate you, and they have a hot or cold touch, and what does it mean? Or we were talking about trauma, and you remember, in books we read cold, clammy hands that grips onto me. Yeah, so that lingers, right? So that temperature actually lingers in our head and is associated with something bad. Yeah. The last one is I think Glenn's favorite.
Oh.
Which, vibration.
Why is that my favorite?
I don't know.
Everything could be his favorite,
I
you
know,
know.
right?
Like we have Maul that messaged us on Facebook saying Glenn has a masochistic tendency.
What?
No, only foot massages.
Okay. No other
And then
name.
sports massage. I mean, it's
Yeah.
painful sometimes, sports massage,
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
Not
That's
for
true.
everyone.
Yeah, but vibration, good touch. What do you love?
Wait, when you say vibration, you mean what? Because just now you went like hot and cold. So someone's
a type of
hands could be
temperature.
hot,
Yeah,
some
someone's
hands could be cold. Then
yes.
what's the vibration?
Where does the vibration come
So
from?
vibration, imagine you have a bruise and you have to kind of, massage
That
it.
constant,
Or your
yeah.
OSIM massage chair, they have the vibration inside
Okay.
there.
Yep.
Your watch vibration. So it can be associated with an alert, alarm. So there is an association there. But vibration, when we just say it like that and you think erotic,
Many things come to mind. Yes.
then
As in toys?
yeah.
They could be.
Wait,
We sell them at Lucky Plaza as well.
so what are we talking about exactly here? As in someone using that
touch.
on someone?
No. The sensation of touch. So sensation of touch
Yeah.
has pressure, light touch, temperature,
Pain.
the pain, and then vibration. Vibration is one of the senses of
Which
touch.
comes from an external
yeah,
subject, right? Not just
the
your hands.
vibrator. It's the
Okay.
vibration.
From where though?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
That's
he doesn't comprehend.
I don't
that.
get it. You get it?
No, not
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Yeah.
What-
So an external feeling of
Which could come from a vibrator.
Yeah.
Right?
So
It could.
Vibration is
Yeah.
just a vibration, a movement, right?
Could be a massage gun
yeah,
as well.
a massage gun is also
Okay.
a vibration.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
And that can
Yeah.
be used inappropriately. You're saying.
It can be so erotic. It can be used badly. Also.
Basically,
yeah.
she's telling us the different types of touch sensations related to touch.
Yeah.
And vibration is one of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
He's so confused.
I
he
know.
cannot-
I don't think I'm the only one who's confused.
yes.
I'm
with
just
you.
trying to understand.
I'm with you.
Okay, let's continue this conversation on The Big Show TV. Here's J-Hope and Miguel, Sweet Dreams.
This is brand new. Here's a tune that's
I managed to confuse him so much that he cannot have a comeback.
Yeah. First time.
I know.
Okay.
So yes. So the sensation of touch
Yeah.
and how it evokes, the feeling or thought in our bodies. Yeah. So we're talking about trauma. We can talk about affection also. Yeah. So the different types of touch for the adults, right? So if we go a little bit more, so it's not just the positive touch, which is a lot more affectionate, a lot more sensual. There's also playful touches.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the fun one, you kind of like, poke someone or you kind of like tease someone. Then there's the controlled touches.
Is that like a signal that, that the person wants like more? I mean, like playful and, it can lead
You
to
mean
something else.
foreplay?
Well, kinda.
I mean, if that is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. Playful touch is playful touch, Yeah, you can go, yo, bro,
Between
and then
friends
this-
as well. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's important to send the right signals.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a bad touch could be somebody shooting a rubber band, and they think it's playful, but you're feeling pain and you don't like it. Yeah, so if we do that combination, then it's not a playful touch; it's an unwanted touch. Yeah, unwanted, unsafe touch.
Okay.
So there's controlled touches where you are trying to guide someone to do something. You're trying to yank
their
the person
hands.
out of the room, or just go away, or to go into the train, as the Japanese would. They will push you into the train. Yeah. So controlled touches, which does not mean anything else except the instruction that is giving. Yeah. Okay. And then there's ritualistic touches. So those ritualistic touches are like your handshakes. Yeah. So or the greetings between friends. So during
Like a hug?
It's so like a hug,
Yeah.
like some cultures a kiss on the cheek. I think that's the dap that I learned.
The dap?
Dap.
What's the dap? Is that the dap?
Does Shine know what
What's
a
a
dap
dap?
is? What's a
Dap.
dap?
Yeah.
What? The
So
hand
so
tap?
it's the this, and you pull together, and then you tap the back.
Oh, is
And you
it?
bump the shoulder?
Bump the
and
shoulder.
you-
Right.
Well, like what
Yeah.
guys do. I mean,
Yeah.
we
so
do
that's,
that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I learned
Tap, yeah.
that that's a dap.
DAP?
DAP.
Okay. That's
I'm
been around for
younger.
ages though.
Yeah.
We just never had a name for it. Right? Yeah. Guys are always like pulling each
we
other
always
and then
do.
tapping
But if I were to do
shoulder.
that with a girl, then the
You
girl
don't
might
really-
not feel like it's appropriate.
girls more
is it?
so you don't really grab the hand, you more so hug, right? Or give a nice like.
But now I call girls bro. As
yeah,
well,
I know that's
so-
terrible. Yeah.
So that's ritualistic touches.
Okay.
And then task-oriented touches are, if we think of nurses having to do the injections, bringing, temperature, bringing the seniors from the beds
Yeah.
to the wheelchair. So those are task-oriented. You have a task to do.
Okay, so if we
I
have
feel like this is a lot, no? It's like I mean, teaching people what's an appropriate touch or inappropriate touch, right? Because it's also very subjective. I mean, if we keep on talking about this, and if everyone is going to be like super sensitive, then we'll also have a problem. How about like when one is touched, it's either the person feels comfortable or
not.
uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
just black and white like
yeah,
that. That's
because
it.
right now it's like we're categorizing
yeah.
these touches. If a person touches you like this, it's it's like maybe it's inappropriate or whatever. But maybe someone is already kind of sensitive.
Okay,
for some reason.
so we have one alun that comes on here and goes, "My wife likes to touch me inappropriately."
Okay, what?
No, and then he says he always touches me with her cold hands.
Oh.
With her cold hands. How do I tell her without having to sacrifice my delicious home cooked meals? But that's what he said. He said, okay, I guess he doesn't like the fact. I know some people that have very cold hands.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just they're just born like that. So I guess he doesn't like that. But how does he tell her without offending her?
So which part does
Do you want him to say?
She's your wife. Surely you can tell her.
Can you tell us where she touches you with her cold hand?
Hello, I didn't ask.
Go buy her a hand warmer or something.
So in the midst, so he doesn't want it to stop, but he wants some parts to stop. You see, so
Yeah.
it's that part that he wants to continue, that he encourages her, and then lead to the part where he doesn't want.
He wants the cooking and he wants the food, clearly. But he
Okay.
just doesn't, I feel he doesn't like the cold hands.
Okay,
Because he's
but
saying
the
that she's
touch is
touching
okay.
him inappropriately, which means her cold hands down there.
Maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, very cold.
I have a couple of DJs fantasizing now. Please help us, Alun.
Not a couple, just one. Okay, we'll find out from him because I guess you said the temperature of touch.
And sometimes we really don't like that cold.
That cold, yeah,
feeling,
yeah.
Alun,
Yeah.
maybe she's just nervous. Yeah,
Around
you still
you.
make her feel nervous.
That's good thing, right?
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So yes, maybe it's just that coldness he doesn't like, but maybe it's other parts that he enjoys. I mean, parts of the body.
Maybe the
but-
bum is a nicer part to put a cold hand on because your bum is warmer. But okay, before we go into traffic, I want to find out, like for parents who have kids, or for maybe caregivers, or teachers and all that. How do we communicate good touch, bad touch to children?
Okay.
Without
yeah.
going to a psychologist and saying, okay,
Right,
these are your
right.
zones and these are your distances
I think they
and
do
stuff.
teach that in school.
But parents?
Yeah, so
Parents
parents,
need to know
are
as well.
encouraged to also teach safe touch, unsafe touches,
Yeah.
and also unwanted touches, and how to say no to unwanted touches.
So do they do it on a toy? Do they do it on the child?
Okay.
How do
Yes,
they
so
communicate
they
that?
can,
Hang
they
on,
can.
let's do traffic first and then we can do that.
Okay. Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we're talking about unsafe or unwanted touching.
Yeah.
And there are some parents who might want to teach their children about what unwanted touches
Yeah.
are. So
Yeah.
how would they do that?
You can show it on the body. You can you can take a toy. So I've got a teddy bear here from YWCA. You can take a doll also. Sometimes dolls are a little bit too explicit.
Yeah.
So you might not want for the younger children. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Like Barbie dolls?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But they are really good to show the different private parts.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
teach them about parts that people cannot touch: the chest area, the bottom area, the bum area.
Glenn?
I didn't know that back then.
Yeah. So yeah, we tell them where they can be touched. So someone can hold that hand. Okay. If if their legs and their maybe they fall down and they need their legs clean. Yes,
That's
they
okay.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Faces are a little bit like not. Some children don't quite like it.
And it's also the
Yeah.
way that they're touched. Because, you can hold a hand, but you can hold a hand properly, and then you can also kind of sensually hold a hand. It's the way the rubbing and stuff might happen as well.
I don't think the holding hands is the problem.
Yeah.
Remember the pressure and the light
Okay.
touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the pressure and the light touch that we are looking at. So if somebody is slapping you, so there's a hard pressure.
Yeah.
There's a bad touch. If somebody just touches you
And sort of rubs.
and then kind of like
Yeah.
caresses you,
That's also a bad touch.
Yeah, that's a bad touch.
but it's a light touch, you see. It's not a hard hitting or anything like that. So the young child might not be able to discern, and it's
Yeah.
a little bit harder to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even for the adults, sometimes they don't know how to shift away and say, "Stop touching me." Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Lots
All right.
to think about.
Wow. Wow. We
But
should have just
anyway.
talked about sex addiction today rather than.
No!
Maybe
Anyway,
next
just-
week.
No, be mindful. Okay, so a takeaway is be mindful, be deliberate, and be thoughtful. about your touch. You know, I cannot control somebody else's touching, you know, whoever it is, but we can control our touch. So we be mindful, we be deliberate, and we be thoughtful about it.
And we be
Okay.
honest with our feelings as well.
For sure.
Yeah. Either you feel
absolutely.
comfortable or you don't feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jerry,
No
for joining us,
worries.
coming in, and well, it was
I touch
it was a
all
good.
of you?
You touched us so
You know that song?
deeply.
Sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much. What's the honesty
And
part
I
there?
have to close my eyes and
That honesty's too much, so that
That is a
leads
bad
to
touch.
discomfort,
Yeah.
or
Do you have a quote for us this morning?
Yes, I do.
was it going to be that?
No, by Leo Buscaglia, and he says, too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around.
So what is he saying? There's no such thing as a bad touch.
Hi!
Says,
It's Glenong.
Everyone will come and touch Glenn after this.
No, of course they will.
come.
Nothing
You're
inappropriate about
most
that.
welcome. Okay, Jerry, thank you so much. Have a
Thank
wonderful day
you.
ahead.
I will, and all of you too.
Thank you.
Here's Justin Bieber with Ghost on Kiss 92.